Class. So in this video, I'm going to go over everything you need to do to submit your first project, our digital imaging project. So we're just going to read through the steps on our class page. I'll go over how to create everything that you need to submit. And then I'll also go over going onto Blackboard and submitting everything there. So let's just get into it. So here on the OpenLab page, you can see everything that's going to be required for the project. So if we scroll down here, we're going to see the instructions. So you're going to create an OpenLab post with an exported version of your Photoshop self-portrait in JPEG format. You're going to export an Illustrator version of your project in PNG format. You're going to write a short statement about the project, and there's a link here with a template for how to fill this out. It also includes how to credit any images you've used for your Photoshop or anything. And then on Blackboard, we're going to upload the following. So we're going to upload our PSD file, we're going to upload our Illustrator file, and we're going to add a link to the OpenLab post. So I'm going to go over each one of those steps. A little bit of this will be review, yeah, I'm just going to go over it and then submit. So I'm going to go, I have both my Photoshop and Illustrator open. So let's go to Photoshop first. I'm going to go to my PSD. I'm going to export this. So we've kind of already covered this. Let's take a look at what we've got in our project folder. So I'm going to open a new Finder window. And so you can see here's my self-portrait, and here is the PSD file. So it's right there. Depending on what you're looking at, you may, you can, on Mac, you're usually going to be able to see the .psd at the end. If you're on Windows, you may not see that. And so you probably will see an icon that looks like a Photoshop icon, and that may be a good way to know that it's the Photoshop file. If you double click on it and it opens Photoshop, that's another good way to know that. In the Finder, you can also go to, I have these, the buttons turned off, but there's different views in the Finder. So if I hit Command 1, you'll see this kind of, these different kind of views here. And so we actually saw the icon for a second, but it's going to show a preview of the image by default. So you just want to make sure that it's the .psd. You'll see that again when you upload as well. And this is the edit file or the Photoshop file. And so the reason you need to submit this is so that I can see how you have your project set up. That's just a way for me to, verify that you created everything that you created and that, you use the right techniques and stuff like that. And so if you don't submit those files, I'm not going to be able to grade it. So if you make a submission but you forget those files, I'm probably going to ask you to submit again. So please just remember to submit those files. The other files that we have in here are our source images for the Photoshop project and then our exports of our self-portrait. So I'm going to review how to do this again, but then we'll upload these to our submission. So first I'm going to go to Photoshop. And so I might make some changes here. Maybe I'll open up my gradient map and move my colors around a little bit till I get something exactly how I want it. Maybe I'll just move this a little bit. Just make some adjustments so you really get the image that you're going for. And then once you're happy with that, go to File and go to Export and choose Export As. And for this one, we're going to use JPEG. It doesn't really matter that much which one you use, but just to have a chance to do both, we're going to use JPEG for this one. You can play around with the quality a little bit. We want to get something around 300 to 400K. 460 is not so bad. I think that's probably pretty good quality. If we zoom in, it looks good enough. I think we capture the basic idea of the image. So then we're going to export. And this is actually the third time I've exported, so I'm just going to put self-portrait 3 at the end here and click Save. And so now if I go back over to the Finder, you can see there's my self-portrait 3. And so that's the image that I'm going to upload to the OpenLab. And that's my JPEG image. So let's go over to Illustrator now. We've got this self-portrait that we've been working on over here as well. I'm gonna go to File and go to Export. You can make any final touches you want to do on here as well. And I'm gonna go to Export As. I'm gonna say Use Artboards because I want to use the artboards, and I'm gonna choose the PNG format. Again, you could do a JPEG here, and in some cases that might be better. But just for the sake of the assignment, so we get a chance to do both, I'm gonna do PNG. And click Export. It says, do you want to replace? I don't want to replace my original, so let's just add self-portrait 2 here so we know which one this is, and I'll export. And it gives me some options. I'm going to leave these all at the default and click OK. So now when I go back to the Finder, now I have self-portrait2.png. So even though these have the same name, they have different extensions, which is why I can have the same name on these. So just want to make sure to keep track. So self-portrait 3 is my final version of the Photoshop, and self-portrait 2 is my final version of my Illustrator self-portrait. So we've got all the files we need. Let's go back to Chrome, and we're going to create our post. So I'm going to scroll up here and click Add Post. And if I hold Command on my keyboard or Control on Windows and click Post here, it's going to open it up in a new tab. That way I can leave the instructions here if I want to come and take a look at them again. So let's go over to our post. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our category. And so this is our self-portrait project. So I'll just add that there. And now I'm going to say my self-portrait. If you want to add in a name or something like that, go for it. And so we're going to start with the Photoshop. You don't have to do Photoshop first, but we started with Photoshop in the class, so I'm just going to start with that. I'm going to click the plus button and add an image, and then click Upload. And I'm going to go to my Documents folder, to my class MMP 100, find my self-portrait folder, and go to self-portrait 3. So we've got our image here. That's looking good. I'm going to click down here to add my statement. So in the statement, we're going to add in a title, a semester and year, and the software that was used. This is just kind of a good example for how to write about your work on your portfolio, so people know what software you use, what what approaches you used, and you can write about what you learned or challenges that you faced, how many images you used, how many filters you used, things like that, whatever you think is appropriate here. So for this title, I'm going to say, I'm going to call this Lizard and Pigeon Friends. Did I spell friends wrong? Let's see. I think I spelled it right. Okay. So that's the title. So next is the semester and year. So I'm going to say spring 2024. And then finally the software that I used. So I'm just going to type Photoshop here. If you used other software to make aspects of this, feel free to do that, to include that. So now I'm going to write a little description. So I'm going to say for my self-portrait, I wanted to use a city setting and show 2 different city dwellers enjoying a view together. I used the gradient map. Oops. And noise filter to achieve this stylized look. Feel free to continue there. This is just a couple examples of the type of things that you might write. And then we need some image credits. So I'm going to say image credits here. And so here, this one is probably the trickiest part, but you could copy and paste this and just fill it out. Or you can go bit by bit. It's a little hard to see here, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you start with the title of the work. You write the author's last name and first name or username, the license that's used, the title of the website that it came from, the date it was uploaded, and then the URL. So hopefully you have your image data still available. I think I made some notes on this before, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so I have some notes here that I took before where I put in the link, it looks like I actually only did one of my links, so I'm sure I'll be able to find the other one. You can always reverse image search if you have the image. But here's my pigeon, and then let's see if I can find my lizard. So I just found it in my Chrome history, so you might be able to do that as well. Okay, so I have my lizard here. Let's make sure to copy this into my notes so in case I need it later. Okay, now I can close that. And so all the information is going to be here. Depending on what website you used, it may be in different places. So if you need any help finding it, if you're on Flickr or Pexels or another website like that, let me know. I can go over how to find the information, but you're just going to look for a few things. And sometimes it might be a little ambiguous. You can just kind of guess about things. So for the title, let's start with my pigeon image. So the title, I think, is just this here. It's kind of a long title. Let's see if there's any other, let's see, description, date, source. Oh, and so this has an original source, and it says originally posted to Flickr as Empire State Pigeon. Okay, so that I think is the title. If I go to Flickr, we can see, you know, this is the original title, Empire State Pigeon. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks. So we start with the title. Next, we do the author, first name and last name. For this author, we know the username is 01. We might be able to find their name here, but I don't see anything. So I'm just going to use their username. And you could even link to it if you wanted to, but we're going to link to the image, so it's probably not necessary. So I'm just going to put the author, the username here. So then next is the license. Okay, so we could go back to Wikipedia, or we can see the license info over here actually. So I'm going to click on this. Whenever you see these kind of logos, that's probably the license, and it says some rights reserved. So it's talking about licensing. So let's click over here. So this is CC Creative Commons by SA. So that means attribution and share alike. So that means we can't we have to use the same license as this one if we want to use the image. I'm just going to copy that and then paste it right here. So just Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V. So that's our license. Next, we need the title of the website. And so you could use Flickr here. I actually got it from Wikimedia, so I'm just going to say Wikimedia Commons. And then we want the date that it was uploaded, so that's just right here. I'm just going to copy that. Don't need the time. So I'm just going to say uploaded August 31, 2008. This is using like the European date format, so we can change that to American if you want. You don't need to. And then the last thing is just this link. So I'm just going to copy that from the URL bar and paste that in there. Okay, so we've got our first, and let's just do our second real quick. So I'm just going to close these windows, and let's go through this one. So this one is actually just posted on Wikipedia. So I think it's just called Lizard in that case. Or it says description, ground agma lizard in Tanzania. Okay, so it's a description, but not necessarily a title. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna go with lizard. I think that's good enough. And the author is, let's see, this Wikipedia user. They don't have a first name or last name, so I'm just gonna use their username. I'm gonna say by Sajad F. So then the license is right here, CC attribution 3.0. So you could also link to the license from here. Like if you want to, you can select this text and I can add a link and then copy the license in here. You don't have to do that, but it makes it a little bit easier if people are curious to find what you're talking about. So there's our license. We are using the same website, so Wikimedia Commons. And then the date of upload, let's go back. The date of upload is December 27, 2010. So I'm just going to copy that. Say uploaded December 27. And whoops. Okay. December 27, 2010. And then last thing is just to put the link in there. If you want this link to link, you can select it and just hit the link, and it'll actually recognize it's a link, so it'll just turn it into a link for you. Same thing with this one. It doesn't have to link, but it's kind of nice again if your links link. So let's just set that up. Okay, so we're done with our Photoshop one. Okay, that looks good. So next, let's add our Illustrator image. So I'm gonna hit the plus here, go to image, I'm gonna click upload, and now I'm gonna find self-portrait2.png. So you have to be careful, make sure this is the right one. Click open, and that's gonna upload there. And so now you can have another, we're just gonna go through the same process basically, except we don't have any credits for this one. So for the title, let's say the title is MMP 100 logo. You can just say that's a logo for the class. You know, put whatever you want as your title. This is also spring 2024. And this is made using Illustrator. Okay, so for this one, we can say I used Illustrator to create a logo for MP100 using featuring grain, gradients, and shape builder effects. You can talk about whatever you want here. If you did some drawing or some illustration, feel free to describe your process and stuff like that. So just a couple sentences there. And so once you've got that set up, we're just going to preview that, make sure it looks good. Okay, we've got the right, make sure you have the right category, self-portrait. Okay, so if we're happy with that, we can close this and we can click publish again. And once that's ready, we can copy this link. You can view the post if you want to as well. And now we're ready to submit it on Blackboard. So I'm going to go into a new tab. I'm going to open up Blackboard. And here, I'm going to go into the student preview. So it'll look like what you guys see. So I've got the student preview on. So to submit this assignment, you go to assignments. This is the first one, the self-portrait. There's a rubric here. So if you want to double check your rubric, you can look through here and make sure you did everything that is part of the assignment in here. There we go. And so now make sure, besides the OpenLab link, remember to upload your original edit file. So I'm going to create a submission. For the submission, I'm just going to post the OpenLab link. You don't have to write anything. You don't have to add anything else in here. The next part is to upload your files. So go to local files. You're going to add your PSD. Okay, click open. They might take a little while. They're a little bit larger files. So then we're going to go again and we're going to find our self-portrait.ai and open that as well. So if you do not upload these files, I'm not going to grade it. I'm just going to ask you to resubmit. Okay, because that's the only way that I can really verify how you did the work and you know, look at your work that way. So once you've uploaded those two files, just click submit. And if you have any issues finding those files or knowing what to submit or any of the parts of this process, just send me an email or a message on Discord. We can talk about it on email. We can talk about it on Discord. We can do an office hours meeting to talk about it online. Whatever works for you. This is going to take a minute to upload just because these files are a little bit larger, but it should not take too long, but that's still thinking. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole process. Again, let me know if you get stuck on anything. This is our first big assignment. So, you know, if you have any technical issues, just let me know and we can figure it out together. But there we go. So it's all submitted. That's what it should look like. If you have any issues, if you forgot to upload something, just click start new here. So when I grade these, I'm going to go through the rubric and you'll be able to see my comments based on the rubric. So when you see the rubric on your page, when you get a grade on your Blackboard, you'll be able to go through and actually see what you got points off for. And keep in mind, if you want to redo something, if you forgot to do something or submitted the wrong file, just resubmit and make those fixes, and I'm happy to regrade it. So you can always resubmit your assignments if you need to. Okay, so that's it for me. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing the first submission for you guys. So that's it for the videos for this week. Tomorrow, or maybe on Wednesday, I'll do another little week 2 review just to take a look at what you guys are working on and give a little bit of some comments on that. So I'll post that video either tomorrow or Wednesday. And other than that, I'll see you guys next week.